Welcome everybody. If you're tuning in for the live stream, this is Friday at 6. You know the drill. This is number 16. Because, now at the office of Smit here at the wonderful office at the Olauerstrasse in, this is Kreuzberg?
Exactly.
In Kreuzberg. You have to talk into the microphone
sure.
if you say so. This is Daniel Bülow.
Exactly.
He's one of the founders of Smit. Thank you for having us in this office. And we're going to talk about, about the web startup scene, about, starting up, and also about, the product, what's new, what's coming ahead. Maybe you can give us a small peek into new products, or else just, talk along with everybody else, because we have two other guests. Here is also in the show Fabian Heuser. He's at Tape TV.
Right.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, good to be here.
Okay. And as final guest, we have here Michael Brehm. Thank you for coming here.
Yeah, thanks for having me as a guest here.
Yes, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to what you have to say. Of course, CEO of Rebate Networks and also venture partner at Target Partners. Am I saying it correctly?
Absolutely.
And
correct.
angel investor, should I also add?
Yeah, quite active investor in the European startup scene.
Yes, right. So, okay, these are the three guests, and we're going to talk for 1 hour, like we do the same every week. But we have also every week some music, to make us a little bit more loose, because this is such a relaxed show. It's nothing special, just a little bit, us talking on the couch and listening to some music and having some beer and some pizza, because all the employees of Smit are now actually coming to this small studio to enjoy this live broadcast with us, because I think a minute or so ago a message got out in the company. Daniel? Exactly.
Everybody's invited now.
Yes.
To enjoy the pizza, enjoy this conversation here, and thanks again for coming here.
Yeah, no
for
problem.
being at Smit, giving us the honor to be here.
Okay. Thank you. Well, we're going to see this hour if if we can have the level of quality and also involvement, with the four of us, that we can make it a good show, because that's what it's all about. After this, I will stop talking so much like I do now. So the band that is here is David Netchi and his babysitters, and today he took one of his babysitters, and he has a wonderful big bass. Yes, that's the bass. David, also thank you so much for coming. What is the first song that you're going to play for us?
It's called So Hard to Tell.
Okay, take it away.
Startup business.
I could go left, I could go right, could keep rolling or stay by your side, but it gets so hard to tell if you're free or just lost. I could say hello or walk on by, but mostly I feel like I wanna kneel down and cry, 'cause it gets so hard to tell if you're free or just lost. Now my feet say roll it, roll it. Your life you just stole it, stole it. But if I think of my kind of sorrow, I should have changed somewhere else tomorrow. Well, I don't know better, honey. Don't know what to do. But what does it matter? I'm a fool and so are you. 'Cause it gets so hard to tell if you're free
So now all the people from, thank you, David. Now all the people from Suite came upstairs, but are a bit afraid to come in. Huh? Maybe Daniel, as founder, if you say, okay, now everybody come in, because you know that will make so much more fun. Or
Maybe they're a little shy, but I will try to take care of this later.
later.
They're eating right now, so that eating comes
they-
first.
they
You
are-
know,
okay.
they
So
need their strengths.
so very shortly, what is Smeet doing exactly for people who don't know you?
Okay, so basically, Smeet is a social platform that is all about playfully meeting people in the internet.
Yes, but it's also like a 3D thing, right?
Yeah, if you're honest, it's not real 3D, but it sells better. You know, 3D TV. Everybody talks about it.
Aha, okay.
So basically, we are 2.5D, if you want to say that.
And what does it mean when you look at your product?
Yeah, I mean, these 3D products basically I think are not possible like the way we are in the browser right now. There's certain things that are possible, but from a usability point of view, it's very simple, it's very casual. So we opted for a more easy solution for people to experience what we offer.
Okay, and Fabian, what is Tape TV doing? Also, you know, because Smeet is here since 2005, right?
No,
No? Ah,
since 2006.
ah,
But basically, the company has turned around in many directions.
okay.
And the past 2 years have been the path we are on right now that we continue to go.
Aha, okay. So and that strategy is
As I just mentioned, we want to revolutionize the way people meet playfully on the internet.
Revolution.
yeah, okay, since 2 years. Okay, that's interesting. And Tape TV has been here for how long in Berlin, Fabian?
3.5 years. It was started summer of 2008. And what Tape TV does is online music television. We have 45,000 music videos, and you can just type in Tape TV, and you can just lean back and watch music television. Just you know it from TV, but we use all the possibilities of the internet, so you can personalize your stream. If, for example, if there's a song you like, you can push a heart icon, and the next song that follows is quite like the one you liked. So some sort of the Pandora principle. And we also produce our own shows. Yesterday we had a show called On Tape with Cool Savage, and it was we do this in cooperation with ZDF Kultur. So actually we managed to get out of the web into the TV. So this is we like what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Michael Brame, what were you doing at the end of 2005? Can you still remember what you did back then?
Very, very clearly, I was just working for an investment bank in Frankfurt and thinking how great it would be to work with a startup and build a company.
Yes, and then two guys came along, and in the beginning of 2006, what happened?
Then I met a friend of mine at the bank who was also working at the bank, and he said he met two guys and they have a very strange idea, and he doesn't think it works, but I'm very entrepreneurial. Maybe I want to have a look at it. And then I thought it wasn't such a stupid idea, and joined the two founders of StudiVZ and helped building the company and the social network into one of the largest German internet properties at that time.
And do you ever regret becoming an entrepreneur?
No, absolutely not. And I remember very well the face of my boss when I told him 4 weeks before the bonus was paid that I actually want to quit. And then he thought it was a joke. He said to me like, okay, funny, so we don't have time, so why are you really here? I said, no, you don't understand, I want to quit. He said, yeah, but no reasonable person is like quitting 4 weeks before the bonus. Why don't you wait? I said, I don't have time because there's this viral effect. At social networks, and then he didn't understand. He just thought like, I wish you good luck, and if you want to come back, you're always welcome.
He thought that you had a depression or something like that, that you were
I
going to
don't
throw
know
yourself off the
what,
building.
but he, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, and how much money was this bonus to make it even more concrete? I'm sorry, I'm so curious.
I think I can't, but it's quite significant. I mean, it's a big part of the salary normally at the investment. It was.
Yeah.
Now actually it's not so much anymore, but.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, it's when you think of that, I see a smile on your face.
Yeah, of course, it went very well. We have been very lucky, so I don't regret it at all, and I'm extremely happy to work as an entrepreneur.
Yes, because I think most people now, when they hear your name, you know, they read, of course, you know, the Daily Deal sell to Google, and you know that they know that Rebate Networks does a lot of coupon business. So really, you know, local e-commerce going worldwide. If I, you know, say correctly?
Absolutely. We saw the concept at the end of 2009, then kind of supported the founders of Daily Deal, helped building this in the German-speaking area, and then we're thinking like in which kind of areas of the world this Daily Deal concept, but also by now it's much more. It's local e-commerce, it's travel. In which areas of the world doesn't this exist yet? And then I made a huge push in beginning of 2010 and basically started to build companies within close to a year in 30 countries with a strong focus on East Europe and Asia.
Yeah, and where do you see the future of e-commerce going?
Oh, that's a very big question. I think
some people told me that you are also like a big figure in the whole scene. So I thought I have to prepare for big questions.
I don't know. That's up for others to judge. But I think, I mean, in general, one trend I would say is that it's growing. And by now, I'm convinced that everything that you can sell offline, you'll also be able to sell it online. And the question is just how much of these offline sales are going to move online. And then if you have travel, for example, there's already a huge part is kind of sold online. And then there are other things, probably especially in the luxury area, which maybe aren't like going so much into online.
Mm-hmm. Because what are the predictions now? How much is going to shift from offline to online, and where do you think that the percentage will be in the end?
You really need to look at different areas. Mm-hmm. But I think, I mean, what I thought interesting, stuff that people in the past thought was never going to be sold online now is actually sold. One example, I just half a year ago, got involved with a company called Urbanara, and they are selling very high quality home decor items like cashmere blankets, very nice kind of bed linen, things like that. And that was like a concrete example. I remember when I was in university, professors of mine took like for stuff that's probably never ever going to be sold online because you need to touch it, you need to see the color and the feel and all that, and now it's very kind of common for people to buy it.
Yeah, you went to the private business school, the HU, pretty
yes.
famous.
Yeah, it's a very good university in Germany.
Yes, yeah, because this professor wasn't just saying anything. This was really a well thought prediction that he had, and as of that, you can see how much has changed in the past years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Daniel, you just mentioned before the show, and you also talked about it in the show, that the strategy has a bit changed. Is it also involved in different thinking about how online and social networks develop?
That's also a very good question. I mean, basically, I think I can't speak for every startup, but I guess many startups go through different phases. You start with an idea. Back in 2006, we thought that people on the internet want to talk via telephone in a virtual environment with each other. Bam, we were wrong. People didn't want to do that. It was technically very was challenging. It was exciting. People got impressed of what we had, but actually there was no business in this model. So basically, you evolve. You make the next step, and in 2006, 2007, I mean, we saw, of course, social network hype. We StudiVZ coming. We saw what's happening there. Saw this traction. We're just impressed on how he did it back then, and his team. We saw Second Life, another big hype in 2006, 2007, globally, that jumped from 300,000 units to, I think, shortly 5 million, then 10 million, being quoted for making multiple million revenues in virtual items. So we developed into a kind of virtual world platform, and then there was another learning. So what do people do in a virtual environment? Mm-hmm. And so we even evolved from there and integrated the first gaming elements, because we were looking here and there and saw what has traction, what is going well with engagement of users, and this was gaming. Mm-hmm. And gamification has been a topic, I think, the last 2-3 years, almost anywhere, everywhere. What you do, you collect. Even in the offline world, you have been collecting Happy Digits, which is now I think sold, or some other cashback companies.
So you now have the feeling that you're not ahead of the curve anymore, but right on the wave.
I think somehow we are ahead of the curve when it comes to social interaction online as a live experience, because we have come from this place. Now, I don't know if you've focused on the last developments. There have been some companies like Turntable FM or Shaker who are going this direction, live social experience, which are being hyped again now. Back 5 years ago when we started with that, there was just no hype. People were thinking, okay, this doesn't work. People don't want to do that online. They don't want to do it live. So I think at this with this regard, we are ahead of the curve because we already have the experience. But I think we know what is missing to make it sticky, to make people come back, and
a
to
lot
make
of confidence
and to make
now.
Money from it
Yes.
at the end.
Okay, yeah, the final step, that's always, of course, important, and you never know, if it's really going to happen. Fabian, you were actually saying something really, because you said, we were like web, but now we even at ZDF Cultuur, you were on television. But I'm always under the impression that but television is going to be web, right? It's not like the analog line is going to be, the next big thing for you as Tape TV.
We think if we talk about the internet, we talk about a medium, a medium where all the other media's gonna get, and but still, TV developed a certain visual aesthetics, and this is not gonna change. This is gonna evolve. It's gonna take the next steps. But the basic idea of visual entertainment is gonna stay, and I think if we all have smart TVs, there's no longer going to be the question whether if it's TV or internet. It's going to be smart TV.
Right.
But the content stays, and if you
so it's more like a strategic corporation and really going for the medium.
Right. It's first of all, it's about range, and it's very cool to have such a cool partner. And
do you think ZDF Cultuur is cool?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Actually, they're really trying to get into some experiments. For example, they drafted shows and let the viewers vote which is gonna be recorded and produced. So they're really trying to use the social web to they trying to bridge the gap between TV and internet.
So after the next song, we're going to talk about some big developments that are happening right now in the tech world. So I'm going to turn around and ask David if he wants to play another song, because he's enjoying the beer and the pizza, I think. David?
And a little chat.
David?
We can play.
David? Hello? Do you want to play another one, or?
Of course.
Yeah, really? Yeah. Did you have something to drink and eat already?
Yes, a little bit of coffee, a little bit of pizza.
You told me that you were trashed by the performance of last night.
Yeah, it was 2 in a row, so that was.
Yeah, exhausted.
Yeah, it's exhausting somehow. I don't know. It doesn't look like so much.
Also, startup life that David is living as a musician. All the musicians that come here have a startup life as well. A lot of similarities.
Yeah, I just noticed that can't see my head.
Can't see your head?
Yeah.
I cannot adjust the camera. Maybe you should. Yeah, you can play like that?
Like this. This sucks, man. Okay, no problem.
Alright, this is a song about a bomb I saw in Belgrade. It wasn't a startup life, it was a starting down life or something. But yeah, you see it.
Nach rechts hin und her schwankt ein Altkleiderhaufen, kommt die schlurfenden Schritte kam auf dich zugelaufen. Sie durchsucht die Mülltonnen, an denen sie vorbeikommt. Gründlich routiniert und besonnen, was taugt dann in ihre Taschen kommt. Sie geht durch jedes Wetter, braunen Dreck im Fett. Die Welt, sie wird nicht netter, fährt sie Jahr für Jahr. Oh, die Sterne über ihr, kalt, die Erde unter ihr, ein Wind geht hier, Wind wundert, dass sie friert. Gib ihr Geld und eine faltige Hand, schiebt sie dir aus dem Mantel entgegen. Das Loch im Gesicht beginnt sich zu regen, es rutschen Worte über den Rand. Doch keiner weiß, was sie da spricht, ob Dankesworte oder einen Fluch. In ihren Augen glimmt ein trübes Licht, ein altes Haus lange ohne Besuch. Sie geht durch jedes Wetter, braunen Dreck im fettigen Haar. Die Welt, sie wird nicht netter, erfährt sie Jahr für Jahr. Oh, die Sterne über ihr, kalt, die Erde unter ihr, ein Wind geht hier, wen wundert's, dass sie friert, wen wundert's, dass sie friert. Von biblischem Alter ist ihr Gesicht. Woher sie kam, das weiß man nicht. Scheint, sie war schon immer da, in Schnee und Regen, Jahr für Jahr, so auch die wenigsten glaubten. Sie war einst ein Mädchen, fröhlich und rund. Es klingt wie Hohn, ihr zu behaupten. Sie sieht manchmal durch den zahnlosen Mund. Ich geh durch jedes Wetter, braunen Dreck im fettigen Haar. Die Welt, sie wird nicht netter, erfahr ich Jahr für Jahr. Oh, die Sterne über mir, kalt, die Erde unter mir, ein Wind geht hier, mich wundert's, dass ich friere. Dass ich friere, wen wundert's, dass ich friere, wen wundert's, dass ich friere.
Thank you, David, and also thank you, bass player. I'm so sorry that you are not on the camera. Maybe you can, yeah, okay, right, yes. So he was on live as well. So what are the biggest developments at this moment happening in your companies, guys? I'm really curious. Can you, going mobile, the social networks, name something that really interests you at the moment where you would really want to exchange ideas about. Michael, maybe you can start. What is now for you really the thing happening?
I would say in general, what we see at a lot of companies is really the push mobile, definitely. But I mean, for sure, that's nothing new. What currently moves me a lot, especially with rebate networks and the countries we're in, is that, from my point of view, this whole daily deal business is really a game changer for a lot of local businesses. And you see how it's going to be adapted by these local local companies, you see that the kind of the discount you're giving to customers, how the margin distribution of the rest is done, is kind of it's kind of going to equilibrium, and it's amazing to see that for a lot of these local businesses, for the first time, they really have a mean to do a huge push online, and then in general how the whole daily deal business develops. I remember in 2009 a lot of people were critical, saying, oh, we don't know if the business model can really become big, and it's just like selling a few discounted pizza vouchers. And now it's basically a huge phenomenon, selling everything from local spas to travel to other areas.
So the rebate networks is also really going to be concentrated around the coupon business.
I wouldn't necessarily say coupon. It's in general local e-commerce, how we would define it.
Okay.
And local e-commerce and advertising.
Yes. So now you see that Google acquired Daily Deal. Of course, you know, very strategic. It's a strategic move for them. What do you think is now going to happen? Now it's in their hands.
Oh, I hope they become very happy and lucky with this, and the company continues to develop in a great way as it has done in the past, and I think it was a great move by them.
Okay, yeah. So very, you know, you guys want to react to it because you know what he's not saying, or not?
Actually, I don't know what he's not saying, but thanks for putting me out here. Now, basically, you asked, okay, so what's exciting? I can just talk from our perspective right now. What I'm, from a SME point of view, are worried about, and of course, we are also thinking about going mobile, with of course some more challenges with our very rich product not being really fully applicable on a mobile. We have tons of content, so the question will of course be what is the most applicable content to bring mobile. I think we have avatars, we have pets, we have items, we have somehow dating elements, we have real people, so there's a lot of things we could bring mobile. So now we are strategically discussing what to do.
Are you then not already too late because when it has to be developed?
Okay, this is a question I don't know.
No,
I don't think we are too late. Of course, it depends on.
But is it your number one priority now when you look at the future?
Of course not. It's not number one priority.
Okay.
But it's definitely not the channel where I think we have relevant content. Just even for our existing user base, to prolong the experience, it can be strategic to our platform. But even making alternative moves, moving different direction with the product, finding new scenarios where, first of all, we can make revenues. I cannot stress this enough. At the end of the day, a company needs to make revenues. So this can be very important to us in the future. But the second big issue, what we're developing right now, is an independent app for Facebook, which is supposed to be launched sometime next year. Hopefully in the first quarter, but it's not just a single application. It works closely together with Smeet, so that's what is exciting for us right now.
Yeah, a new app on top of Facebook.
Exactly.
Yeah, because Tech Berlin, you know, Tech Berlin Friday at 6 show, Tech Berlin had a competition for who's the hottest startup, and Smeet won it.
Yeah.
You have 300,000 fans on Facebook. So
maybe that helped.
Probably it did, yes, but is that also you saw this growth on Facebook and that people on Facebook like you and then you decided to do it?
I mean, not seeing growth on Facebook means closing the eyes in this world. So basically, from our point of view, communication happens on Facebook with 70% of the internet of the people, at least in the countries we're active in. So you just cannot ignore Facebook if you want to be relevant in communication. Email is dropping more and more from our point of view, what people check on a very daily, very frequent, repetitive business. So being on Facebook is of course key. Using Facebook is key to us, though we differ somehow that we don't just depend on Facebook. We have a destination site, we run without it. And so we think the combination of it makes the gist.
Yeah. What do you think of when you hear this, Michael?
I think he is absolutely right to focus on Facebook and in general. I mean the move that, or the, how to say, let me think, the effect that all the social media areas have be it video, be it Twitter, be it Facebook, be it other social networks. It's amazing. And actually you see more and more people to think about these social media channels as they have thought prior about Google. So how do I optimize for Google? And now it's not how do I optimize for Google, but how do I optimize for Google and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. The poor thing is a little bit that in the kind of, in speaking about these companies, there is a company missing that would come out of Europe. And maybe Smeed is one of these companies that has the opportunity to become huge.
I would love that, but you know, we're talking about giants here.
Yeah, because you know that of course is a motive that you can see, you know, pattern through your whole career thus far. That Europe never had like a big player in order of growth like Facebook and Google. Does it irritate you sometimes that we in Europe don't have that?
I wouldn't say irritate. It's let's say it should speak to the ambition of all European tech entrepreneurs to try to build one of these companies. And actually, I think we have gone a huge way. If you look what's currently happening in Berlin, it's amazing. I mean, there probably isn't any day in the year where I don't hear about a new startup, or you read about one, you see one. And there are a lot of companies here in Berlin, but also somewhere else, which have the potential to become really big.
And why hasn't it happened already?
I think it's a question of time. You need an ecosystem. You need, if you look at Silicon Valley, and basically their huge wave of foundations came in the 60s and 70s. So when the internet was there, you had a lot of like second, third, fourth, even fifth times entrepreneurs. And sometimes you only read about like really young guys building something, but actually often they weren't so young anymore. If you look at, and that's also now true for Germany.
If I just can add just a short comment, I believe one thing that cannot be stressed enough, the strength of the domestic US market. I mean, having a market with 300 million plus people is also something. I mean, the American market may not be homogeneous.
You include Canada then, I think.
No, even without Canada. Okay, Canada. Okay, don't say that.
Okay,
you shouldn't say that.
Okay.
But just to have a look over. I mean, it's not a homogeneous market, but compared to Europe, with all these different cultures, languages, it's rather homogeneous and not so heterogeneous as Europe. So that, of course, I mean, having a big market like this, from my point of view, is a very big advantage. And even if you look at Asia, which is from population a lot bigger, but still, it's not. I mean, it's Chinese, it's Indians, it's Japanese, it's Koreans, it's so many other countries. Yeah. It's not that homogeneous than the US market. Yeah,
some people also say that it is also because Germans, when we talk about Germany, about this 90 million market, which is of course also not that small, you could say, you know, where they speak German, they say because they are only good in cloning, only in copying, so they never learn to innovate and make new products. Michael, I saw you taking the microphone before I ended my question, so go ahead.
I would say that Germans are very good at executing things, which of course if you have an example somewhere, then you can get some orientation from there and execute very well. But that's just one part. The other part is to do real innovation, you need people who are familiar. I mean, if you say, I want to build, say, a rocket that flies to the moon, and you're like in a desert.
Do you call the rocket as or did you think about this example?
No, it would let's example. Let's say you want to build, I don't know, you want to build a Formula 1 racing car, and you have nothing then like just a plain desert. I mean, first you should start with something very elementary, and then once you have a certain amount, industry size, a cluster, and a relevant size, experienced people, then you can start being more innovative. And I think that's exactly what's happening now in Berlin, is that there are so many people educated that a lot of them are now doing very innovative things, and it's amazing.
But then there's another factor, and that is that also, you know, Rebate Networks, you have two very big institutions that are part of your investment team, and they back you, the institutionalized parties, as funding you. And then what I meant is that I've heard that the venture capitalists in general in Germany, as another argument, are very risk aversive. So they are hesitant to support these guys. If they've learned and if it's their third or their fourth company, they won't invest in it. How do you look upon that?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. If you have a great idea and if you have great entrepreneurs, you're going to get funding. The problem is if you have a crappy idea and a mediocre team, then of course you don't get funding, and that's what people.
But what's the main problem? The ideas or the team? Most of the times when you look at proposals.
Everything. It's something that develops. You have a very short history. When I mean, if you remember, probably about around 2000, this kind of or 98, this founding wave started. That's like 20 or 30 years after the US started. And now we have come a huge way. And I think if you look another 10, 20 years ahead, you'll see a lot of huge successes. And that's why I love to be in this in Berlin currently. And then the scene, it's probably like being in the Silicon Valley at the beginning of the 90s. A lot of opportunities. Most of the people who got involved at that time did fantastically well. So I'm very optimistic about the future. And
because where do you see where do you spend your time now mostly when you look upon your investments?
I'm actually now trying to both in existing models to give them an innovative spin. And innovation not necessarily always happens with new companies. It also happens in existing companies that develop further a lot. The most dramatic example has probably been Apple. That has been great, and then I don't know, in the around 2000, people didn't think it was so innovative, and now it's like the kind of stellar.
And this an example is also that you invested together with Early Bird in Crowdpark, for example. This is also the money that you invest now in a company that you would think and can innovate now more.
In a lot of companies, I think that can innovate, and the other thing is, of course, to look for innovative things. The other trend that happens also is that people think much more global. They don't think about like Germany as one market. Take Smeed, where now is one example. It's basically a born global.
Okay, so what I meant with where do you spend your time is, do you really spend now a lot of time more in Berlin because of this this hype? Because you're a lot in Munich, I think, as well, all over the world.
Actually, not so much in Munich anymore. I'm most of the time I'm in Berlin. It's a great place to be.
Okay, and that's also a new trend. You just confirmed it. Berlin for you as, and then you're talking about rebates, or you talk about the angel investments, or
for everything. I've been traveling a lot actually last year. That was crazy. Now it's luckily a little bit more Berlin, but you also see this. It's even on a city basis. Berlin for the past few years had a net increase of population. If you take the people who moved to Berlin and who move away, it's and this during the 90s, it has been very different. So
it's something also, because when you talk about these things, then you have to make a structure for that as well. Are you thinking also about making a new company or giving it another structure to really push also the Berlin and the new vibe forward? Or is it going to be the structure like where you work in now?
I think as an individual person to push Berlin forward is very hard. But I believe that everybody of us, and the four who sit here, but everybody out there as well, by speaking positively about this, can push both Berlin, Europe, and Germany forward. The largest problem actually, and I had some interesting discussion with other entrepreneurs and VCs about that, is that we all say, oh, it's here in Germany, it's worse than in the States or in Asia. But by speaking about this, it's worse than, we actually kind of confirm it and thus kind of reach the opposite of what we want. We want to encourage people. And what we should say, and I really can't emphasize that enough, speak positively about it, say we have reached so much and now we want to strengthen this trend and continue it forward. And I think this would help a lot. And it's really that what's happening. And I would say the biggest reason for so many people coming to Berlin is the startup scene. If you also have it very broad in the sense that I mean, for example, that it's like fashion, it's art, it's tech, all that.
You see this as the main problem now that can make the growth or the development less go quickly, go slower.
What
Being
sorry, I
being
don't
too negative while you think it could be more positive. You see this as the main obstacle for the growth of Berlin.
No.
Actually, is there anyone negative about Berlin? Seriously, if I think about the Berlin startup scene, there are so many companies where I tell everyone, if they ask me about SoundCloud or Wooga or Smee, I always say, great. What they're doing is just, and it's not about your own product. It's not about the city. It's not about what's happening right now. It's the companies and the people that work in the companies. They're actually all really cool people. For example, if you go to a party of Wunderkinder or Wawa FM, it's all cool people, and you really like what they're doing.
Yeah.
You really appreciate that, and it's so easy to say the Berlin startup scene is cool.
Okay, but because we have to be clear about it, what is it exactly that you meant, Michael?
No, I meant that in general it would help a lot and force the trend.
Where do you see the negativism?
Currently there aren't a lot of big obstacles, I would say.
Okay.
It's more that we don't mess it up and the positive trend. So there's more entrepreneurs coming, better educated entrepreneurs. There are second, third times entrepreneurs. There's money coming to the city. We have a great educational system. We have legal security, which especially I happen to appreciate, since I'm very active in a lot of, say, East European and Asian countries where this absolutely is not the case, that you have independent courts, all that. So it's great. It's just we need to continue this trend, convince more people to invest into startup.
Okay.
Also, one big thing is that, for example, a lot of large institutional insurance companies, pension funds, by law, they are not allowed to invest in the asset class venture capital and private equity, which is a problem. You don't even need like any state regulation. You need to that says like private persons or companies need to invest in that, but you should at least give them the right to invest if these insurance companies think it's a great investment, and I think in many cases it can be.
Yeah, so and in the German structure, who is that then within these parties has to change? Are these the people who have stakes in these big companies? How does that work?
I think, I mean, specifically setting the legal framework for companies to be able, or for insurance companies and pension funds to invest as limited partners in venture capital. That's something where the government or the Deutsche Bundestag and maybe the European Union needs to change. A lot of these other things, the kind of mental, the spirit, the more softer factors, it's about us.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is now the discussion also in Berlin, which comes back to every broadcaster as well. And we are not always positive, but that the radio show is here, I think sometimes it's also because of this spirit. Now for 16 shows I've interviewed over 70 CEOs, practically by only sending them an email and asking them, hey, would you like to talk about these topics? And I think this is really unique.
Isn't it amazing that you find 70 CEOs in a city? So
I think I'm from Amsterdam. I couldn't have done this in Amsterdam, and I know almost everybody, but I don't think that I knew 70 CEOs there who would just pop up and have a beer and do a radio show. And I think this is also something amazing. And I really also think, Michael, when you talk like this, I really think that because you're not that visible, I must say. Do you ever get like interview requests? So from the big TV shows, or how do you think press is treating big entrepreneurs in Germany?
I think the main reason is that a lot of entrepreneurs don't actually necessarily want to be in the press. At least for myself, I mean, I like this format, and it's about entrepreneurs, so I say yes. But normally, I try really to avoid it and definitely not push it. And a lot of people I know feel the same. There are sometimes exceptions if you have like a company that's very visible, consumer-faced, where it's good if you do it, but especially with the German culture, it's not so outspoken as maybe the
Americans.
The Americans especially. So I think.
But is that also the way that media approach you? Because I would say, if you say we have to stay positive and feed this vibe with more optimism, then I would say, okay, but why don't you go like once or twice a year in a big TV show and say, hey, it's nice for young people to start a company, because now they never hear these kinds of stories.
Yeah, maybe it's probably a personal decision. It's also not like, I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's just giving direct feedback from my, because you know I as a journalist, you know, I would love to have more people like you in big TV shows, you know. So from my point of view, I think you would do a very good job as well. So. So shall we invite some more musicians before this is getting a little bit awkward? David?
Did you say musicians just now?
Sorry?
Did you say musicians?
He meant
The-
rock stars.
Yeah.
Oh, is musicians not a good? Is that? No.
They're actors.
It's just playing the music.
Alright. We have a show tonight, by the way, if anyone wants to come.
Where is it?
Where? In Friedrichshain in Jungstraße 29. At maybe around 10, I guess.
Does it cost money to come in?
No, it's for free. One summer day, she ran away. She's gone and left me. She's gone to stay. Well, now she's gone, but I don't worry. Sitting on top of the world, I'm going to that freight yard. I'll ride a freight train. I'm gonna leave this city where it's gone most too hard. 'Cause now she's gone, but I don't worry. Sitting on top of the world. I worked all the summer, I worked all of the fall. I'm gonna take my Christmas in my overall. 'Cause now she's gone, but I don't worry. Sitting on top of the world.
For this last 10 minutes of the show, we're going to try I'm going to try to get the best out of my guests. Fabian is really looking really, you know, these last 10 minutes, come on. Beginning of December, almost Christmas, you know, we can go home, we can relax, right?
Right.
No, what is on top of your mind right now?
On top of my mind.
Yes, when it comes to business, of course. You know, what's your idea now when, you know, when you think of Tape TV? You know, where will you go to?
Yeah. Right now you can only see us in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And the big thing for next year is going to be internationalization.
Okay.
So we try to conquer the world, starting with Europe. And this is the big thing we're working on, and it's gonna be awesome because I can see myself traveling to London like every 2 weeks. So
yeah.
and
Cool.
I think right now actually it's the perfect atmosphere for this because everyone's going crazy about Berlin. Also in London and Paris, and we have this huge underground music scene. So funny thing is, if we go to London and we say we're German music television, everyone's like, okay. If we say we're Berlin music television, everyone's like, yeah, cool, come over. So
Yeah. Is it that bad, right? The
um,
German image in foreign countries.
no, the Berlin image is so good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a nice
So,
answer.
Yeah, it's a real door opener. So, and we are really looking forward to, take this advantage and start international. Cool.
Yeah, so you are going to be one of those Berlin export products that's traveling all around the world and spread the gospel.
Right.
Yes. And you're looking forward to that, I can imagine.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, are there already contacts or you're just meeting people? And
Yeah, meeting people is contact.
no, but I mean already close to signing contracts. Sorry, was my mistake. You're right.
Right. We're talking to very many people, and actually we're already trying to get thoughts across, develop ideas. So I can't really say when we're gonna to kick it, but it's gonna be soon.
Yeah. Okay. And what are you looking at, Daniel?
I just don't know those people. That's it. But I guess they're welcome.
Strange people in the office.
We are in Berlin Kreuzberg. I gotta say something to some people who have been born here. So
Yeah. Okay. Right.
There's
Yeah.
another radio show after that.
Oh,
So.
But Daniel, when you look at Smith, and what drives you at the moment? What really makes you happy when you step into the office every morning?
I'm just a self-motivated person, I might say. No, basically you ask about the Christmas time. So before that, for the users, we want to create a very Christmassy experience over the last 30 days.
Yeah.
29 days, so we have a lot of stuff planned. We have a German advents calendar every day, and we bring it out to all the other countries we're in, like Italy, Spain, US, Poland, Turkey, Greece, everywhere. Although those people don't know what we're doing there sometimes, but
yeah,
we try to bring some German culture, Berlin culture, if you want to say, out to the people. And we have some virtual fireworks planned. We got virtual Christmas trees. We got all kinds of stuff around Christmas.
Am I right? Is like December also like a bit of the Friday afternoon at work? That in December everybody's thinking already of, well, not of the weekend, but of the end of the year, or?
Do you want an answer? I hope not. I hope people are still driven and just want to continue on the path and just want to end the year as they've begun it.
I know. I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
You're so serious, man.
Of course, we're all relaxed now. It's beer all the time in the startup, every day.
Yes.
Yeah, I come to the office at 11.
Cool.
Okay.
Berlin.
Yes. Michael, what can you elaborate on your strategy for next year? Can you tell us something? What are your focus points are going to be?
Continue to develop the local e-commerce and advertising companies we're involved with. Are looking very much forward. You see a huge kind of market consolidation in the whole daily deal space. That's one thing. The other thing is just being involved in a lot of exciting startups, and I'm really enjoying Berlin a lot.
Yeah, and are there then also certain areas you think of in the world where you think, okay, there's the consolidation there where we really want to be? Or
consolidation is going to be is absolutely everywhere happening now. You see, there's some countries it has gone further, in other it's just about to happen, and there are a lot of exciting concepts coming up. There is, for example, now actually currently there's a lot of the finance area happening. A lot of people are very fed up with the traditional banking industry. Just having a lot of nodding, absolutely. There is, for example, one exciting company I got involved with called Yavalu, that basically does a very fair and very transparent approach of investment suggestions via ETFs. It's something very special. We'll see what's happening, but there are a lot of these kind of developments which try to break up some of the traditional banking models that have been very good for the banks but very bad for the customers.
Yeah, and then we almost after 1 hour we come exactly back at the moment where we started the show with, namely this moment in the end of 2005 when you decided to leave your bank. Do you really think that it also that internet is going to support this new way of thinking, this transparency, like almost like the pirate party now here in Berlin, you know, with all these points they are having?
Absolutely. You really see this. People have lost the kind of fear of the internet in a way to kind of interact with it, and it's just much more transparent. It's not, you are not like in a closed box if you interact with one person, and this person, be it an advisor, or same is actually happening with medical doctors as well, the whole medicine. It's not that somebody is telling you and you take this as person as a god and forever given what he tells you, but you reflect much more, you collect information, and then you do decisions based on whatever information you have collected. And you see this in a lot of industries, and I think the one which is now actually coming up is banking.
Okay, thank you all so much for being on this show, and thank you very much that you took the time at the end of the week and the beginning of the weekend to share your thoughts with us. Michael Brain, from CEO from Rebate Networks, thank you so much for being here, spending an hour with us, and your next appointment is already there. I think the taxi is now downstairs taking you to the next appointment, but I hope you will give also some people who came here, especially for you, also a minute to network with them. And of course, Fabian, thank you, Heuser of Tape TV, thank you so much. And I'm really looking forward to speaking you next year when you come back from all these travels to see how people react upon your stories when you go out in the world and tell about Berlin. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Yes, absolutely. And finally, thank you, Daniel Bülow, for hosting us. And we're now going to have a slice of pizza and another cold beer and enjoy the rest of the evening. And well, thank you, and also your CEO Sebastian Funke, who arranged the initial contact and let us in. Do you have any feedback on the show?
Thank you. It was a great experience.
Are you now, because in the beginning you were a little bit, oh my God, what is happening?
No, I wasn't, oh my God, what is happening? I just didn't know that something is coming. And then suddenly, hey, you got to join. Oh, all right.
I do apologize. I do apologize. This was not,
it wasn't your fault, basically. That's the point. It's somebody else's we don't mention now.
Yeah, okay. Michael.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, maybe
Michael,
we should
welcome.
introduce the bass player once more.
Yeah, and that he can look into the camera.
Yeah, right.
That he can show his nice curly hair, because I know I'm on the impression he's very proud of his hair.
Yeah, both of you.
Both? Yeah. We're going to do a last song, and could you introduce yourself maybe by talking into the microphone and presenting yourself also for the worldwide audience? Oh, wait a minute, my mistake. Yes, please.
Okay, my name is François Pedrillo from France.
Thank you very much. And this is David Netchi.
Now we play another song. Which song I do? I don't know.
Wait a second.
Not me. Yeah. Blues in B flat.
Change all, change deeply seen. Take me back, baby, find the change in me. I'd say everybody ought to make a change sometime. And because of this, sooner or late, we gotta go to our lonesome ground. Change your money, change your honey, change babies just to keep from being funny. I say everybody ought to make a change sometime. And because of this, sooner or late, we gotta go to our lonesome ground. Change home, change town, change babies all the way around. I see everybody on a machine sometime. And because of this, sooner or late, we gotta go to our lonesome ground. Change money, change honey, change babies just to keep from being funny. I say everybody gotta make a change sometime. And because of this, sooner or late, we gotta go to a lonesome ground.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francois and David. And they're applauding at the hall. This is the end of the Friday at 6 radio show. We're back next week. Thank you all for watching and enjoying, hopefully, the show. If you have some feedback, just send me an email, derkonline@gmail.com, or else go to Tech Berlin. We have their recap of the whole show this Monday. And I'm saying hi to Nico, my official Tech Berlin Friday at 6 co-host. He's now at the co-working space Ahoy Berlin, where there's a party tomorrow, and I hope you all will come because we're going to play table tennis. Yes, this is very local Berlin style, I know. But afterwards there's going to be a DJ and a party. It's in the neighborhood of Stuttgarter Platz. So I hope to see you there tomorrow at Ahoy Berlin. Bye bye.